Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. So, please understand, if anybody says that the Bible is altered, they have rewritten the Bible, read this. This was 700 BC. Prophet Isaiah lived in 700 BC. This was prophesied in 700 BC. The Bible has prophecies all through, from Genesis till Malachi in the Old Testament. And again it started. When Jesus came, the fulfillment of the prophecies started happening. And then Jesus also has started prophesying about the future. And the last part of the Bible, the book of Revelation, it contains full of prophecies. In between, his apostles also prophesied about the end. So the Bible is an intertwined book of prophecies. The Old Testament is called the book of prophets, the book of law and prophets. It is called the book of law. Law means Moses' law and prophets. Rest of the books is called prophets. It's called the book of, by the Bible, the Old Testament is called the book of law and prophets. Jesus himself has described this. Jesus has added one more, book of prophets, law and psalms. So it is, the Bible means the book of prophecy, and you cannot deny the prophecies and their fulfillment. With Jesus, a whole lot of prophecies got fulfilled, and he has said about things to happen, and they started happening. In the last 2000 years, we could enumerate, and some of the prophecies are yet to happen. Jesus is the God of the prophets. So, he cannot be compared with an ordinary prophet. He is God, and he is God of the prophets. Now, this was Isaiah 7:14 was given by God through prophet Isaiah in the year 700 BC, and it is written, behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. We will know the name, the meaning of the term Emmanuel in the subsequent portion. God also prophesied that the son they are about to get is him, the mighty God himself. Isaiah 9:6. Through the same prophet Isaiah, God prophesied what is going to be the son. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. These are characteristics of God. This is the Son we got, the Son of God, Jesus. Quran can be described in one word. Quran means denying the Son of God, Jesus. And the Bible says, anybody who denies the Son of God, Jesus, is Antichrist. That means devil. Before that, in 1400 BC, God announced that the Messiah, who is also the Redeemer, would come from among the Jews, and he would give a replacement to the existing law. That means existing Old Testament Bible. Yes, Jesus gave a new law, the gospel of the kingdom. Between the Old Testament and the New Testament, that's an ocean of difference. You cannot follow both of them. The Old Testament law is dead. Jesus fulfilled it and closed it, and he gave a new law which is called the gospel of the kingdom. We have to follow the gospel of the kingdom only, whatever Jesus has given. And Muhammad calls it Injil, but he has not described even one verse from the Injil, from the gospel of Jesus in the whole Quran. Thus he has cheated you. Go read it, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Unless one follows the gospel and loves Jesus, follows Jesus, one cannot inherit heaven. This is what is written in the gospel of Jesus. That is the Bible for the Christians, for Muslims, and everybody. Now, let's come to Deuteronomy 18 and 19. Again, a prophecy. a prophecy given by God Himself in 1400 BC. If anybody says the Bible has been altered, can anybody alter a Bible which was that 2000 years before Muhammad was born? And it was a Jewish Bible, it was a Jewish instrument. You and I or any Arab could never imagine touching the Bible at that time. In the Old Testament, till Jesus yielded His Spirit on the cross, till that time the law was valid. We, the Gentiles, were not even allowed to touch the Bible. Arabs were outside the kingdom. Indians were outside the kingdom. We were called Gentiles. We were non-entities. We were enemies of God. We had nothing to do with Deuteronomy. We had nothing to do with the Old Testament Bible. But Muhammad had given a false impression in the Quran that the Old Testament Bible was given to the Muslims, and all Old Testament Jewish people were all Nabis, Muslim Nabis. He has made you, whatever you call it, he has made you a fool made a fool of all of you. No, whatever that is written in the Old Testament Bible, it was meant for the Jewish people. It was a Bible for the Jews. After Jesus came, the Son of God came and died for us, God opened the Old Testament Bible for us to read and to know the past and to learn lesson, that's all. But in the Old Testament period, there was no way we could even touch that Old Testament Bible. It was a Jewish Bible. It was written in the Hebrew language, 100% Hebrew language. Now, let's read Deuteronomy 18:19. This is a very powerful prophecy about the Messiah's coming. It was given by God Himself. I will rise up for them a prophet like you means Moses, from among their brethren, from among the Jews, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. He shall speak to them, to whom? To the Jewish people, all that I command him. And it shall be that whoever will not hear my words, that's for the Jewish people, which he speaks in my name, I will require it of him. I will require it of him means in Acts 3:22 and 23, Simon Peter has clarified this. It is that God will kill that person, will remove him. And it happened so. In AD 70, over 10 lakh Jewish people were killed in the walled city of Jerusalem because they refused to follow the words of Jesus. As per this prophecy of 1400 BC, it was given through Moses. They were expected to follow whatever Jesus has said. In John 7:19, Jesus exclaimed, "Why are you not following me? Why are you trying to murder me?" Because everybody knew this prophecy, and they also got wind Jesus was their Messiah, but they were not ready to follow him. So he made an exclamatory statement in John 7:19. Now we know that this one neither Muhammad nor Islam could deny.